Mixers. What is there in a mixer? Well, I'll tell you this. The type of mixer that you choose depends largely on whether you are doing vinyl or you're doing CD, on how many devices you want to be able to mix at a time, 2 at the minimum, can be as many as like 5 or 6 if you have that many, and if you want to scratch. If you want to learn how to scratch, which won't be discussed in this tutorial because this is for beginners, but if you really do want to learn how to scratch, most of the scratch mixers with the really nice crossfaders, they're almost always 2-channel mixers because you're using 2 turntables and you're going back between the 2 quite quickly with that crossfader. And most scratch mixers are 2-channel based, not all, but most. And they've got really nice crossfaders on them. If you're more of like, you want to be more of like a wedding DJ or a party DJ, or you just want to do stuff like a lot of mobile gigs, you're probably going to want like a 3 or 4-channel mixer. That way you can have 2 channels to dedicate to the CD decks, and then you have like an extra 2 or 3 channels to a lot to other devices. Like say you have an iPod, say when you first get into a gig, no one's really doing anything and you just kind of want ambient music. Well, you can run to the bathroom or something and throw your iPod on channel 3 and just let it run. And then you can still have your other CD decks hooked up to the other 2 channels and not have to worry about changing channel assignments or anything like that. And then say if you want like a sampler, an independent like stationary sampler, or an effects module, you can hook that up to the 4th channel and have all 4 run at once. So it's really about how many devices you're going to want to run at once. Most people aren't going to run more than 2 or 3 at the most. I would say 95% of all DJs only use 2 to 3 channels, and that's the pros included. There are exceptions, but that's the generally what I see. So, basically you can choose that. And then you get the brands of mixers. There's a lot of brands. There's almost as many brands of mixers as there are CD decks and turntables. As far as mixer brands go, like I said before, Pioneer mixers are great, quite expensive, quite pricey. But if you can afford them, they're very good, and they're very reliable. Another really good brand of mixer is Rane, R-A-N-E. Rane makes a lot of the standard club mixers. In fact, Rane is probably one of the most common mixers you will find installed in clubs. Generally, what you will see in most clubs, you'll see a Rane mixer, you will see a Technics 1200 turntable, and you might see a Pioneer CDJ 1000. And that combination you will find in many, many clubs all over the U.S. Rane makes amazing mixers, Pioneer makes amazing CD decks, and Technics makes amazing turntables. And that's why a lot of these clubs have that combination in them. Another good mixer brand is Denon. Denon makes great mixers. Vestax makes great mixers. I would try and stay away from Newmark. Try and stay away from Gemini. Those are the cheaply more... the price is going to be attractive to you. It's going to lure you in because the price of those is very reasonable. Maybe if you're just starting out, a little Gemini might be fine. But once you get a little bit more serious, you're definitely going to get rid of it. So if you want to start out going for gold, you may as well get the best you can afford. So if the best you can afford is only going to be something like a Gemini or a Newmark, then go for that. But if we're only talking about like saving up for like a couple weeks longer, you're going to be much better off in the long run if you start with a quality mixer like a Rane or a Denon or a Pioneer. You're going to be much better off in the long run if you're starting with those good ones. So that's basically my little ruling on mixers. The mixers I personally use, I use a Denon and I use, what is my other one? I use a Denon and I use a Pioneer 600, and great mixers. I also have a Pioneer 909, which is also a great mixer. All those mixers are on the high end, but just to give you an idea of what I use. Like I said, Pioneer and Denon for me, and Rain as well is very good. There's many different choices of what you can get, but those generally seem to be the best. And in this next section here, I'm going to tell you some really good stuff, some websites that I really had to hunt a while for to get really good prices. I'm going to tell you where to get your best deals. And this next section coming up might very well be worth the price of this tutorial alone, so stay tuned.